Have you ever felt blindsided or attacked in a sales meeting and then just froze up in the moment? Well, it's happened to everyone, but you don't have to lose control of the sale. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact move to take the power back, turning even the toughest meeting into a win. And I've taught this now to over 2,500 salespeople and business owners through my training program, which generated at this point over $1.4 billion in new revenue. So I know that it works. So have you ever been in a meeting where the buyer tries to just like bulldoze over you? Well, I've been there as well. Even just a week ago, I found myself in a difficult meeting with a prospect. Now, alongside Salesman.com, which you're obviously familiar with if you're watching this content, I run a business called Photography Explained, where we do high-level landscape photography mentoring. And for my prospects over there, think like a 65-year-old man who's recently sold his business for millions, who finally really wants to go and take their landscape photography hobby seriously and travel the world, creating amazing art to share online or print for their home. They're the kind of people that I'm typically selling to and working with Photography Explained. So I was on a Zoom call with one of these prospects, and within 30 seconds of starting the meeting, the guy starts just throwing these pricing questions at me. Now, obviously, you know from watching these videos that it's important that the buyer understands the value and the transformation that they're going to receive from working with you before you go deep into the pricing or payment options or anything like that. Otherwise, they've got nothing to balance your pricing against, and your product's always going to feel expensive. So when this happens, typically I use what's called the broken record technique to try and bring the conversation back on track. So he asks for the pricing, and then I use the broken record technique, and I say, okay, great. I'm happy to share the pricing in a minute. Let me just ask you a few questions first. And then he interrupted me again, and he asked for the pricing. So I used the same line in the same tonality. Okay, great. I'm happy to share the pricing in a minute. And then he interrupted me again, immediately. Now, the broken record technique is great, and it works most of the time in these situations. And so I try it once more. I go, okay, great. And then he interrupted me a third time before I could even get the sentence out of my mouth. And he starts banging on about and going on a rant about me wasting his time, and that it's a disgrace that I don't have the program's price on their website, and blah, 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 blah. Just whatever, right? So I then turned to the most powerful tool that a seller has when they're being basically rudely attacked in a meeting like this. I just shut up. I have a neutral expression on my face. I let him have his rant, and then I sit there silently for 5 seconds or so after he finishes, and this is over Zoom, right? I just stared at the screen. And then he did what everyone does. He felt awkward for being rude, just like how you might have felt a little bit awkward then as I did that 5-second pause. And this worked with the prospect because he wasn't as comfortable as what I am with this silence. And so to relieve this awkwardness in the silence, he said something interesting. He turned around and he apologized, and he asked me to, and very calmly, he was just like, okay, fine. Why don't you continue your questioning? And in this moment, the stereotypical balance between the buyer feeling like they've got all the power and the seller feeling desperate to close the sale has now shifted. Subtly, he feels like, well, he's not getting what he wanted, which is the pricing, until he exchanges some value with me, which is me asking my discovery questions. And so then the rest of the conversation went smoothly. Things were balanced out, and he ended up signing up to some mentoring on the call. So when you feel like a buyer is attacking you in a sales meeting, and people are rude, right? This happens more often than what we would probably like to admit. Use silence to eliminate tension rather than getting agitated yourself, which then raises the tension of everyone that is involved. Your silence acts like a big reset button, and it pulls all of the stress out of the conversation. But with all that said, silence is just the practical application of this system, right? There's a deeper principle at play, and when you start using it, you're going to find that you're no longer going to fear getting attacked in sales meetings in the first place. Right, have you ever seen the film Fight Club? Well, it's one of my absolute favorite films of all time. And there's a scene in Fight Club where the leader of the cult that is forming asks his followers to go out and try to get in a fight.
This week, each one of you has a homework assignment. You're going to go out, you're going to start a fight with a total stranger.
Now, the issue that these folks find is it's quite difficult to get in a fight with someone who isn't wound up and agitated, because when people are cool-headed and they're thinking straight, obviously getting into a fight in the street, right, is a real dumb thing to do. And this works in sales meetings too. All you've got to do is be relaxed and confident when you're communicating with your buyers. Not passive, right? We need to be assertive when we are communicating with our prospects, but calm and relaxed in the way that you communicate. And this works because when you're relaxed, it becomes very socially awkward for someone to get mad at you. And why is this the case? Well, humans are tuned for empathy. So if you think of this outside of the world of sales where we're not trying to influence someone, right? If someone gets mad at you, you are likely to get a little bit angry as well, which then reduces the gap between both levels of your emotion and their emotion. And this narrowing of emotions is basically what empathy is. So imagine this, right? A friend calls you up and they angrily share that someone's just keyed their brand new car and they're both gutted and just really pissed off. Well, most likely you're going to get a little pissed off as well. You're going to tell them this is a really shit thing that's happened to them, and they're going to appreciate you for having empathy for the situation, and their anger is going to slightly reduce because they feel better for getting it off their chest, and your anger's obviously gone a little bit up to get closer to where they were. And that's empathy in play. Now, we're not making friends here. We're at work, we're trying to sell stuff, we're trying to pay off mortgages early, we're trying to retire early, we're trying to buy the Porsche, whatever it is. We've got big aspirations. So we can actually do the inverse of this, and it works to a great effect. Because when a prospect is increasingly frustrated and you feel like that, and you can feel it, right? There is a tangible feeling in a conversation when you know someone's just about to snap, they're just about to verbally attack you. All you've got to do is stay calm and relaxed. Not patronizing, because that's just a form of passive aggression. You want to be truly relaxed and calm about whatever is coming your way. And when you do this, because our prospects are wired for empathy, when they see that your level of emotion isn't going to come up to match theirs, they're going to feel awkward. They're going to feel socially awkward, and they're going to inevitably lower their level of emotion to match yours instead. So the next time a prospect gets heated in a sales call or a meeting or wherever it is, don't rise to meet them. Stay cool, calm, and watch them come down to your level of emotional intensity. And this obviously works outside of sales as well. Husbands, wives, kids, friends, family, whatever it is. As long as you stay calm and cool and collected, almost 100% of the time, unless they're actually a psychopath or unless their kind of rage has gone way beyond what is reasonable for a normal conversation, you're going to see them calm down to your emotional intensity level as well. Now, of course, I worked in medical device sales for years. I'm still, as I mentioned earlier on in the video, I'm still doing sales for Photography Explained. In the heat of the moment, it's easier said than done, right? To stay calm and collected and cool. How do you stay in this state when you're selling, no matter what the prospect throws at you? Well, the answer to that question comes down to one word that you probably don't want to hear, but it's important for you to hear it, and that is pipeline. Okay, so imagine a seller who has $4 million worth of potential business in their pipeline. And they know, because they've done the numbers, they know that they convert qualified leads to new customers at around 20%. And they've got a target of $600,000 to hit this year. Well, if everything goes smoothly and they convert 20% of their pipeline, they're going to overachieve their target and they're going to hit $800,000 in new business, and they're going to be happy and everyone's going to praise them at work, or if they're in their own business, they're going to go off and buy whatever treat they wanted to buy themselves at the end of the financial year. Now, who's going to be more relaxed when dealing with prospects? This seller, the ideal seller, right? Or the seller who has $1 million in their pipeline, who has no idea what their closing rate is, who's only kind of 80% sure what their actual quota is because they didn't pay attention in the initial meeting when they sat down with their team or their sales leader. Obviously, right? Pretty extreme example. It's going to be the first seller who's going to be the most cool, calm, and collected. And do you want to know what the crazy thing about all this is? The first seller is going to be more relaxed, confident, and so the closing rate is going to be higher than the second seller who's going to be scrambling around for leads, and so the difference between their results is going to get even bigger over time as this goes on and on. So think about this. The better your sales pipeline, the more confident you are in it, the bigger the number is, the less pressure you're going to feel, and the more naturally persuasive that you're going to become. In other words, a full pipeline tends to solve 99% of all sales issues. And this is one of the reasons why I try to stay away from the nuances of influencing prospects with your body language or your tonality and all this kind of stuff in my coaching program. Because if you've got enough pipeline, you know your numbers, and you're assertive in the way that you communicate, you're going to be naturally relaxed when you're speaking with prospects. And so all of these influence techniques, well, they happen organically without you having to try consciously to implement them and to put them on someone. That is the benefit of just doing the fundamentals right and just being good at sales rather than being attempting to be good at manipulating people. And so with that said, if you want to reprogram your mind, put the skills of influence on autopilot and build this insane pipeline, click the video that's on the screen right now.